pull up clip 4.
Give me a second. Do you know the name of it real quick?
Yeah, so it's the movie Navy SEALs.
Which I'll say as a
this
caveat, there's 2 actors in this movie that were in my buds class.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like playing team guys?
Yeah.
Was it Charlie Sheen?
No, not in this one.
Was Charlie Sheen in your buds class?
No, in Act of Valor.
Oh, really?
My swim buddy is, I don't know if I should, well, I guess I could say
Well, hold on. He
was in the movie.
Hold on. We're going to talk about him.
His name's Ray Mendoza. He was my swim buddy. Like, so I didn't, the Act of Valor one, I wasn't like, that wasn't like something like, oh, I'm going to go watch Act of Valor, you know?
Uh-huh.
Which, in these guys' defense, they kind of forced them to do it. Like, they made them do it in a way for a recruiting thing.
It felt like, I enjoyed it a lot. It felt like a recruitment.
Yeah, but they kind of forced them to do it. And another guy, one of the guys in here, he's got a gold tooth, AJ James.
Uh-huh.
He was in my buds class. In fact, I actually just worked with him not too long ago on a contract. Yeah. And so when I watched this, I'm just like, a buddy, wanted to watch it with me, and I'm like, fine, I'll watch it. And we're watching it, and I'm like, what? Like, it was weird to see them because I hadn't seen them since buds, on the big screen. But
so I'm going to push play on this one real quick. Review this one.
So Jake,
what is this one? This is Navy SEALs 1990.
Yeah.
Paxton goes to thermal, switching to.
Do you want to watch it?
On Starlight, switching to thermal.
Hold on, we're gonna watch from Jake a minute and 37 to a minute, or sorry, 37 to a minute 50.
37 seconds.
Yeah. So they're moving through the street.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. You probably know the movie.
I know every.
You know it well. Okay.
Oh, here we go.
In fact, I use this clip in my night vision class.
All right. So just talk us through anything you see, good or bad. If you're the instructor, make sure it's down enough, Jake.
First of all, pause it. First of all, they're running around with MP5s, okay, which is 9mm, which is not. It's not, the movies are not like real life. Like I've shot dudes before, actually one of the first guys I shot, like they didn't go down right away.
Oh, with 223 or 556?
Yeah, with 556. Yeah, they didn't go down right away. And especially like early in the wars, they were using green tip, which is a tungsten core round, which just zips right through them and doesn't do anything. If you're shooting at them behind a car or some sort of structure, it's good because it'll penetrate through it. But just flesh, it just zips right through. But like, that's why I harp on in my concealed carry classes and stuff, shot placement, headshots, or right through the heart, or something that drops that blood pressure or completely, renders that individual down immediately. Because they just, even hunters, like you shoot a deer with a sabot slug and they still runs like 50 yards and it's got a giant hole through its heart. Well, humans are resilient as well. And they're the same. I mean, I was shooting these dudes and they were still running. I thought I was missing. No, I was hitting them and just they hadn't gone down. But my point to that is with this 9mm. Now, in their defense, like that's what they had back in the day for CQB. They had MP5s. Like, I still had some in my inventory when I was an ordnance guy. When I showed up to the team, I was in charge of all the gun stuff. And I still had some in my inventory. Nobody used them. It was more of like a nostalgic thing. Like guys would go to the range with them just for fun. Because of this movie, primarily, but it's 9mm. It's not super, it just does not have the knockdown power. The long guns they had at this time, 90s, was M14s, which, were just large rounds. Like they didn't have.
It's like a 308 or something. Is that what that was?
M14s, yeah, 7.62.
7.62.
Okay. But yeah, they, I would not choose an MP5 in this because. This isn't. They're outside, so this is more of a urban, what we called SOUC in the SEAL teams, or mount, type urban environment, and MP5s.
Not good.
No.
So I want to ask you. They refer to their sniper here that we're going to see as God.
Yeah.
What? Any comment?
No, that it's just that it's awesome.
Okay.
Also, 50 cal. That's what he's using here.
Okay.
None of my snipers, in my platoon, I had to lug their guns around as the ordnance guy all the time. Never broke open their 50 cals ever.
Ever.
Too big?
Maybe in Afghanistan, a few guys might have used them, but never did that thing ever come out.
Huh? Why?
just the weight of it.
Here, pause it for a second.
It wasn't super accurate, and it just wasn't practical for what the type of stuff that we did.
Super loud too.
Because I think when the way they got into this target is they haloed, they jumped into it, right? So you got to jump that thing in, which is extremely heavy, and then you got to hump it into your target. No, because most of the stuff we all did was getting dropped up by helicopters and hiking in. You're not lugging a 50 cal around, but it looks cool.
Yeah, it looks great.
Yeah.
But movies never lie, buddy.
I know.
All right, so he flipped on thermal,
which is not thermal though. Like it's some computer animated. Look at the thermal. Here,
wait, go back.
Oh yeah, you have to
go back.
Okay, this?
Yeah.
Nothing on Starlight. Switching to thermal.
What is Starlight? Is that a real
You
thing?
can't see through freaking walls with thermal.
It's on TV. It's real.
I know. It's ridiculous. And the thermal they had back then was like just a joke. It wasn't even like they didn't have a scope that was thermal back in the 90s.
Okay.
None of that. I mean, even the thermals I had in the early 2000s were kind of crappy.
What about this? Watch this. There's a lot of rounds that just went out of that gun right past that guy.
Oh yeah, probably,
man.
Oh yeah, probably more than 32.
Oh yeah. All right, that's it. So, so those guys all lined up. They all sat down and lined up in the street. Is that like, what is that? No,
that's again that is the. Remember I talked about how like Vietnam era tactics to where so this is a urban / land warfare type of environment movement. This isn't CQB CQC, but in the way that we used to do that when I showed up as a new guy was we'd be patrolling or something and we'd take a contact and a whole element of guys would stand up and make a movement, whether it's an aggressor movement where you're trying to flank them or something or break away from the contact, but the whole fire team would stand up together, up, down, and then shoot at the same time, and then the other element would move back or move forward or whatever the calls were that were coming over.
Is that so you're not shooting each other?
Yeah. But okay. But my point is that the whole fire team would get up and then get down. Well, we started realizing in all these friggin' getting in contacts and in firefights that like, why are we having all 4 dudes stand up at the same time and then go down? Why don't one dude, every dude, it works with a pair, like that element is still making that tactical movement, but each dude is broken up into him and his buddy, and I'm up, only one dude's up at a time and the other dude's down. I'm up, he's down. The other 2 guys are working their thing. He's up at some time, he's down. Using cover and concealment between your bounding movements and moving. The whole thing where you're all up and then you're down is ridiculous because now every dude is highlighted and his signature is exposed to take rounds rather than having one dude do it at a time, in these pairs and move between cover and concealment.
I feel like with the military, I love history, and I see this a lot where I watch these old movies and they're talking about tactics from back in the day. I'm glad that it's evolving as far as with people seeing that things need to change. Because think about it, man, we used to line up and take shots at each other.
Oh, I know.
And
Civil War?
I can't imagine the Civil War thing. It's like I don't want to be in the front row, bud.
Yeah, and then, for real. And then
I'd be like, why don't we fight these dudes from behind? And
well, people were like, it's dishonorable. It's like, hey, man, y'all are lining up and taking turns. This isn't chess. Like, what are we doing?
Do you feel like Vietnam was where that like changed? Like with the idea that like actually the entirely different set of rules, this sort of guerrilla warfare that isn't honorable, like that ended up kind of being what SEALs adopted. Is that kind of
stuff, kind of. Right? I mean, they teach you in buds to like think differently. Like they don't want you conventional. Like none of our guys' gear was the same. Some guys were wearing like real tree pants and a cry top with a plate. I mean, everyone had like their med kit in the kind of the same area so that if someone went down, they knew where it was. But apart from that, dude, you wear your stuff however you want it to. But they wanted that type of thinking to think outside the box, because then you translate that to like tactics, and they want you thinking differently for how you operate. So like we would do, different stuff to where, we'd come in, have a helicopter come in. We'd already hike into the target, have a helicopter come in and land. Like we're getting off, right? like we did things, before. And then they're drawn to that because they think we're getting off, and then we friggin' flank them and hit them from behind, which we've already hiked in and set up in an L, and then shoot them like fish in a barrel.
That's smart. Using your own old tactics.
Yeah, like the guy had a buddy of mine that was in Fallujah, and he was a sniper, and his platoon, they drove a Humvee down, and there was this area they were trying to draw out all these fighting age males, and kill a bunch of them, and they knew they were there. They were just hidden and kind of embedded in the city, and they blew up till they got out of the Humvee and started shooting like they were in a contact, a firefight, and they blew the Humvee up, and then they egressed, they got out and went to fell back, and other guys picked them up and they left, but it was all a show. And then all these dudes started to come out of the woodwork and like dance on, and like aloha stack bar, and then what did the snipers do? Just smoke.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks for watching this clip. If you want to see the full podcast, be sure to click on the link in the description. And if you feel like it, hit subscribe.